Hello, everyone, and welcome to Entertainment and Star Wars. My name is Rob. I'm here. You are there. With me today, I am honored to have two special guests. They're pretty new to YouTube. One you already know. One you probably have never met before. To my would be my right or your left or whatever. I'm confused. Anyway, there's Dylan from Discussions with Dylan. You might know him on Twitter as Drunk 3P Ho, if you're familiar with him. Very funny guy, good guy. And Dylan, why don't you tell my members all about your channel?
So I recently started a channel 2 weeks ago called Discussions with Dylan. Basically on there, I'm going to be talking about all sorts of things in geek culture, like Star Wars, Jurassic Park, the MCU. Those are my strong suits. I'll be talking about sports once they come back, if they come back in the very near future, and at theme parks because I've been a big Disney Parks fan my whole life. That's something I'm passionate about, and so I'm going to be talking about all sorts of stuff on there. I have one video up right now about getting blocked by a certain branch Disney company for having opinions they didn't like on theme parks. And then I did a live stream last Friday, and that was really successful. Had Drunk 3PO, Krista Nova, and Jeremy and Justin Proper on there. That was really fun. So I'm just looking forward to continuing building my channel, my very small channel I have right now. So yeah.
And with me down below, and you may have seen them before, they've been on this channel multiple times, my good buddies Luke and Shad from the entertainment crew. Fellas, tell them all about your channel.
Go ahead, Shad. I got it last time.
All right. So our channel is basically just Star Wars. We do a lot of Star Wars. We're planning on branching out as we move on, but right now we're doing versus series where we pit characters against each other. So our recent one, Anakin versus Vader. We do what ifs. So we basically reanalyze scenarios and we see what if something didn't happen. Like recent one is what if Anakin went with Ahsoka to Mandalore. So, and we do theories as well. Theories on like speculation about what's going on in, like Star Wars universe and stuff. So that's pretty much the bulk of our channel. But we are planning on moving on to different stuff: Marvel, Star Wars, not Star Wars, Marvel, DC, probably even Star Trek. So yeah.
I don't know about that.
Luke, you want to add anything to it?
I think that was pretty good.
But in the chat is Subhuman84, really good, another good channel. If you haven't checked them out, feel free if anybody has a channel to drop your link. Trapper Mike, Gaming A, Runner Studios, and Boba Fett. Boba Fett says, "What's up, Luke?" Anyway, let's get going because I guess Luke got no comment. So I was talking to Dylan on Twitter, and he brought up a great point which I never really talked about, and people have said this. People have said how they saw the prequels, and everybody had their, some people liked it, some people didn't, whatever. And then the sequel trilogy came out, and it changed some people's minds, and they respected more the prequels. So I wanted to get into you fellas' thoughts about when you first saw the sequels, the prequels, I'm sorry, how you felt about the prequels, what your thoughts were, your thoughts after and analyzing everything. And let's get into that first. Let's talk about the prequels. I'll start with Dylan, and then we'll hit entertainment crew. Go ahead, Dylan. The floor is yours.
Okay, so I'm really young. I'm only 20. So when Revenge of the Sith is the only prequel movie I can remember actually coming out, and like it was in the theater when I was old enough to actually remember it being, shown to people. So I grew up with basically the Star Wars saga as we know it today completed with all 6 movies, minus all the Disney stuff. So when I was a kid, I loved the prequels. I loved the originals more than the prequels, more so. Especially Return of the Jedi and A New Hope. I've grown to love Empire Strikes Back more as I've gotten older. That's my favorite now. But when I was a kid, the prequels were basically on the same tier as the originals for me. They were I loved those movies, and they were, I had all the Legos and everything, and action figures and stuff. But then as I got older, and as after Disney bought Lucasfilm and they were planning to make more movies, I started going on YouTube more, and I started seeing like the videos from Red Letter Media, from Blinkett, saying like how bad the prequels were, and a bunch of other reviews saying like the prequels are terrible and they like ruined Star Wars. And then that kind of made me go back and look at them differently, and they kind of soured on me in terms of, like, I saw all the old, like, the weird sets and everything that was like that people would nitpick about, and the dialogue choices and everything, like of course the sand quote from Anakin, all that stuff. But then, like, so after The Force Awakens, I was one of the people that loved The Force Awakens when it first came out. And then I was saying like, oh, this redeems the prequels, all that stuff. Like, this is going to be like, we have new Star Wars coming out. It's just like the originals. This is awesome. But then after The Last Jedi, I realized that they had no plan. It was like, and what we know now is that they had no plan from the beginning, and they were just making it up as they went along. And it's like, that made me go back to the prequels and appreciate the fact that George Lucas knew what he was doing with those movies and how it would tie into the originals from the beginning, with The Phantom Menace, through Revenge of the Sith, and then of course with the Clone Wars series that came out afterwards. It just made me appreciate the storytelling aspect of that series of movies that just isn't present in the sequels, because the sequels are just throwing as much Star Wars stuff at the screen as possible without really having any substance, at least in my eyes. While the prequels have, like, you can tell the story was like George Lucas wanted to tell the story of Anakin, the fall of Anakin Skywalker, and then that's what he did. He accomplished that goal. Was it always perfect? No, but I can appreciate him for, having a vision and executing it. Yeah.
Your thoughts, entertainment crew?
So what do you think of the sequels and prequels, Chad?
Of course. I think, listen, what was the original question, Rob?
Well, I was saying how when you first saw the prequels in the movie theater, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if you saw it in a video, I don't know how you saw it. Let's start with this first. What were your original thoughts after all three are done? What would you think about it without the sequel trilogy? Let's talk about
Honestly,
the prequels.
I don't know what my thoughts were at that point. I watched them when I was really young, so I don't remember. But after I watched it, I loved it, because I grew up mostly with the Clone Wars TV show, and it's like I watched the Clone Wars first, and then the Revenge of the Sith, and then Attack Clones. So Clone Wars was basically the opening to Star Wars for me, pretty much. So I love the prequels, except for maybe Episode 1. But that's I liked Episode 2. I actually like Episode 2 a little bit more than Episode 3. Funnily enough, I love the prequels. But when I first saw the sequels, I also loved the sequels. Well, the 7, of course, only. But I feel like I kind of started catching on after Episode 8, because I could tell that they didn't have the same, like the gentleman before me said, they didn't have the same vision that George Lucas had. They didn't have the same like passion for Star Wars Disney that he had, and I could kind of tell in Episode 8 and Episode 9, especially Episode 9. So I think now with seeing all the movies, sequels, and prequels, I think sometimes people give the prequels a little bit. I do this too. People give the prequels a little bit too much praise, a little bit, especially Episode 1 for sure. I don't think Episode 1 deserves a lot of praise. Maybe towards the end, but I think it's because
I think it's the prequels get a lot of hate, not praise.
I disagree. I think back then, before the sequels, the prequels are being hated on. Now everybody loves the prequels, and now the sequels.
People mostly love Revenge of the Sith, not the other two.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith, I think it's a fantastic movie, but I think people give Phantom Menace way too much credit. Like, I think the sequel movies are probably better than Phantom Menace. But I think I'm not really a sequel fan, to be honest. But a lot of sequel hate is undeserved as well. But I do think it is the worst out of both trilogies. So that's my thoughts on the prequels and the sequels. How about you, Luke?
I think you gentlemen said it pretty well. The only thing I disagree with is I think that I've seen a lot of lists, a lot of rankings. Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace are not loved. They're still bashed on. I've seen it in the recent videos.
I don't know.
What are you doing, Rob?
I've seen more love for prequels than ever before.
That is true. Like I've
Yes.
seen more of it, but it's not like that. I'd say I agree with you that they're getting more love than ever before, but not that they're loved per se, like they're universally loved by people.
Right.
I think back then, like before the sequels, a lot of people hated the prequels. But when they saw the sequels, they started like kind of catching on to the prequels, and they were like, "Oh, prequels aren't actually that bad anymore."
Yeah.
So,
All right, I just wanted to say hi to John Matrix, another great channel, who give me a $4.99 super chat. He just says, "Hey Rob, just dropping by, showing some support. Thank you. All support is always welcome." Red Guard is here, running studios, Subhuman 84. Thanks all for stopping by, Trapper Mike. I just want to say hi to the chat, and I hope everybody's doing well. As for the prequels, Running Studio says he believes that the prequels are greater than the sequels. How do you guys feel about that, Dylan?
obviously,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a given at this point.
Big brain.
Yeah. So okay. So we all agree with that. But I could tell you, because I'm an older guy, I was there with the original trilogy in the theaters, and I was there for the prequel. I was there for everything. I seen everything in the theaters. When I saw, and I wonder if you guys are going to agree with me on this. When I saw the Phantom Menace, it was like, I think the Star Wars fans, it felt like how The Force Awakens was. We haven't seen a Star Wars movie in a very long time. We thought that was it, 3 and out, done. That's it. All of a sudden, we're hearing, oh my God, a new Star Wars movie. It's been a long time. And so the hype was there, and everybody was pretty excited. Remember, at that time, money is not what it is today. Movie tickets weren't as expensive then as it is today. But it was exciting. It was exciting from my standpoint. I was very pumped up to see another Star Wars movie because I thought it was over, and I was very sad, and I loved it. And then Phantom Menace comes out, and I'll stop there because I want to know what you guys thought. You've just seen the Phantom Menace. What are your thoughts on the Phantom Menace? And we'll start with Dylan.
My initial thoughts?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, that was definitely my least favorite of the Star Wars movies, like of the 6, because I think it's because of all the dialogue scenes and stuff, like the stuff with like the politics and everything. Is like when you're a kid, it's like you don't really care about any of that stuff. So it's like I was just like, oh, I just want to see the Darth Maul fight, and so like when I was, of course, but that's just me being like 5 or 6 years old when I first watched when I was watching all these movies like on a loop. But now I think I at least I appreciate that movie and the fact that it takes that after watching like The Rise of Skywalker, and it makes me appreciate the Phantom Menace because it's like this movie took time to at least tell its story, while The Rise of Skywalker seems like it's just rushing through everything just because it's like it seems as if they don't want the audience to really think about what's happening, and like they're just trying to do everything as fast as possible and be like, okay, well now we got to do this thing, now this thing, now this thing, and it's like the Phantom Menace. And like while it has a lot of problems, at least it sets the stage and it lets you understand at least some, like, what the Jedi are up to, what Anakin's been doing, like why he's important, why why the Naboo system is so important, all sorts of stuff like that I think the sequel movies don't really take the time to tell you, and that's where I stand on it now. It's definitely not my favorite. It's not my favorite of the prequels, but I appreciate it more for its kind of slow build storytelling than like the The Rise of Skywalker or The Force Awakens or The Last Jedi for their kind of fast pace, just throw everything at you, so kind of stuff. I don't know what you guys think, but that's.
Uh-huh.
I think Phantom Menace is pretty. Yeah, I think it's. We're talking Phantom Menace. I think is the worst of the prequels, and I'll be honest here, it's kind of boring a little bit as well. But I do think the ending was pretty like mind breaking. Like the first time that we got to see Return of the Jedi to Phantom Menace fight, like lightsaber fight, I thought that was really good. I also think that the villain was really good, and I also liked Liam Neeson was as Qui-Gon. I thought that was really good. I wish he would. I wish he would have made it to like at least. I wish Qui-Gon and Darth Maul would have made it. Well, now that Maul's in the Clone Wars, but I wish Qui-Gon would at least made it to the next movie for sure, because I thought he was a great character.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you think?
Phantom Menace. First time I saw it, I actually loved it. That was good. I had no honestly. I think the Jar Jar hate is. I think it's a little bit too much. Okay, he's basically. I've said this before, but he's basically a C-3PO. They're trying to do C-3PO again, but they kind of failed at it. Okay, because they include him way too much in the plot and stuff. They made him like there's a whole scene where he basically destroyed the entire droid army. So yeah, I think Phantom Menace is like Luke said, the worst. I think it is the worst Star Wars film, but I don't think any of the Star Wars films were that like I don't think it's unwatchable, but I think it is definitely lower par than like some of the like Attack of Clones or something. So
I don't know if you guys watched my video or watched any other videos about what Dave Filoni said about that. When I saw it, I'm going to agree with you guys. I thought the ending was great. I loved the ending. I loved the pod racing was pretty cool. There was some cringe moments in the movie, some jokes, that were kiddish. But like you always said to me, he always said, not just to me, to everybody, he said, listen, it's a movie made for 12-year-olds, it's meant for kids. And, just people were growing up. That was the thing. So you had me who was once 5 years old watching New Hope. And now here I am, a teenager into my 20s watching all these prequel movies, So I'm growing up and I'm like, okay, all right. My little kids are laughing because I could hear them in the theater. So for me, it was cringe, but I understand he did it. He just had kids, he wanted to appeal to his kids. I thought it was too much Jar Jar in the movie. I think it was overkill, and he cut that out in Attack of the Clones, because we'll get to that next. So I appreciated that he did that. I don't mind you have him in, but just don't kill it. Just don't make it too corny, I thought Darth Maul was great. I never saw a double blade lightsaber before. That was really awesome. When him just coming out with the whole thing was what you wanted from a Sith Lord to me. You wanted someone intimidating. You wanted some fear. This is what they're meant to be. They're meant to be fearful. They're meant to cause fear. This is how they win. And it was cool. I mean, he came out and everybody's like, oh, crap, who the hell is this guy? And he's just, and I'm like, whoa. And it was really cool. Ray Park was excellent, in my opinion. I looked at we had a space battle, a ground battle, and a lightsaber battle. This is what I expected in Rise of Skywalker. I don't know what happened there. John Boyega was saying it was supposed to be one of the most epic space battles we were going to get. And I was like, where's this epic battle? What happened here? This is like nothing. So I don't know. That even though the Phantom Menace wasn't the best, I still think it was better than the sequel trilogy ending. It's just how I felt. It was incredible. And I don't know what happened, man. I just don't know what happened. So we'll get to now Attack of the Clones, right? So we get through Phantom Menace. We have Jar Jar. Okay, I think that's the big downfall. Luke thought it was boring. It wasn't the best. I admit that, but again, we have our pluses, minuses, but it's not the best. It's there. So now we get to Attack of the Clones. What did you think after you saw Attack of the Clones, Dylan?
That was, when I was a kid, that was always a weird one for me, because again, like I loved seeing like the arena battle and like the Jedi, like all the Jedi being out there fighting off the droids, and then getting to see just like a glimpse of the battle between the Republic and the Separatists, like between like with the clones and the droids against each other. Like I just like love seeing all that like action packed stuff when I was a kid. But at the same time, I like even when I was a kid, I couldn't deal with the whole Anakin and Padme like love story thing and how they were so like all the like even like as a kid I didn't even really pay attention to the cringe dialogue or anything. It just felt boring to me. I was just like, I don't care about this. I'm like, Han and Leia are way cooler. I was like, why should I care about this? But now I definitely like I understand more like of like what the whole storytelling element of having them like the Jedi basically be unaware that like they had this whole thing going on between them and like basically setting them up on like the most romantic thing ever in Naboo, and how ironic that is. And you know, him having to watch his mom die and all that stuff that kind of like just basically starts him on the path towards the dark side. I appreciate all, like, again, this is all stuff that I appreciate more because like it's like that stuff is there. You can see it in the prequel trilogy, while a lot of the stuff that happens in the sequels that by the end you don't, if you go back and watch the earlier movies in the trilogy, it's like there's nothing really setting stuff up like you know, well, I mean, the whole conflict back and forth with who Rey's parents are is one example, but like just again, like in Attack of the Clones, you can feel that was a necessary movie for George to make. That was like, okay, this is the transition of Anakin being this nice young Jedi to that's a little reckless to being like kind of more dark and becoming corrupted by the dark side because of Padme and like his whole relationship there. And I appreciate that much more now than I did when I was a kid.
Shad?
Attack of Clones. I think Attack of Clones is one of the better Star Wars movies, actually. All the like the Padme and Anakin romance stuff, I'll give it a pass because when you think of it, Anakin basically was trained his whole entire life to not have emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So when he wants to express his emotions, I bet he's probably blanks out in his head. So I think it's understandable. Like that, people make fun of that. I don't like sand type of thing, but I think it is understandable a little bit for him to be a little bit awkward because he's not meant to do that. So
definitely,
I didn't really have a problem with the romance. Actually, I actually thought that was one of the better parts of the movie. Yeah. Also, the end scene, the Geonosis, that was fantastic. The CGI for that was ahead of its time. It was really, really great. It still holds up today to me, for me. Overall, I think it deserves a lot more praise actually than hate because it kind of revolutionized CGI. When you look at it's a very, very, very big improvement from Phantom Menace. Like the entire battle was pretty much CGI and Geonosis. So I think it's very, very well done film, for sure.
I think the movie is also pretty good. At first, I didn't like it, but when I was younger. But you know, I think the best things that you can do to get through the like cringe, as you said, C-3PO. Sorry, I forget.
Dylan. Call me Dylan.
Dylan. All right, Dylan. The things that I think that makes the cringe kind of like you can kind of go through it again is think about it's not like he went to high school and stuff like that and he got to be around girls and stuff, and that's actually discourage to do stuff like that. So obviously he's not going to have the skills, and also again, of course I think that some of the lines were like a little bit misplaced, but I still think that the fact that we got, you know, Natalie Portman, Hayden Christensen, great actors and actresses, I think that seeing it from that point of view, I think it's pretty good, in my opinion. So I think the movie's pretty good, and I I also liked Obi-Wan Part 2. It was kind of detective story. So yeah, that's what I think.
So for me, it's funny because this is when my favorite Star Wars character of all, I'm just going to surprise some people, Count Dooku, for those who know me, was shown. And I was like, yeah, I loved Count Dooku. And he's always been, and rest in peace, Christopher Lee. He's always been my favorite. And because I just love how classy he was, and it wasn't like he struck, like he had to wear some intimidating stuff. He was just very powerful in the Force. He was a former Jedi. When he saw the fall of Qui-Gon, which you don't get in the movies, but because I read about him, he turned. That was like the final straw to him. When the Jedi's couldn't accept his ways, when he saw how corrupted the Jedi's were becoming, because here they were supposed to be peacekeepers, and they were turning, and they were, they were being fooled. They were being played. I mean, everybody was being played. Everybody, and that's what was brilliant about these prequels to me is how, like, every single person was a pawn, was to be used so that Palpatine can get what he wants, and everybody just fell in line. Like everything happened just perfectly for him. I mean, that which is unheard of. He had some setbacks, but he got Death Star plans from Dooku. Dooku almost killed. He could have killed Obi-Wan and Anakin. And then Yoda comes, and I thought I would never see Yoda ever battle. And even though it was funny, because at first it was funny. It was funny to see him jumping all over the place, like what the hell? But it was so funny, but it was so awesome at the same time. And again, I think the endings of all prequels was so great. I was just like really fantastic. And again, if I compare it to the sequel trilogy, again, I don't get that. I don't like The Last Jedi. That was like that ending was just ugh. The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. The ending was ugh. I just didn't get this edge of your seat excitement that I got with the original trilogy and prequels. They had you. You had you going like, oh man, what's going to happen next? Can't wait to see the next movie. And I just didn't. I mean, maybe I got that a little bit from The Force Awakens, but it just felt like a rerun of A New Hope. Yes, there's some different things to it, different aspects to it.
Just like worst characters, pretty much. Pretty much worst characters of the movie.
Yeah, and Attack of the Clones were introduced to the clones. A whole army, like oh my God, a whole army was created, and the droids and the whole thing. It just was. Yes, it was a little political, but it was just. It grabbed me. I like. Okay, love story. Yeah, I was again, all right. But you guys make a valid point.
No, I don't know that. I don't know because hey, we did get Natalie Portman, so that's always good.
That's true too. I mean, look at the actors we have. We have Samuel L. Jackson, Natalie Portman, Christopher Lee. I'm like, wow, we got a lot of great actors in here, And I was like, wow, this is a pretty good lineup. And everybody, like, you get the feeling how powerful the Jedi were, and to see how powerful on top they were, to see them fall. It's kind of like the original trilogy, like how powerful the Empire is. And it seems unstoppable, yet they fell. So I thought it was just really, really fantastic. Again, just comparing prequels to sequels. But we'll get to the best movie, in my opinion, and still is my favorite of all, Revenge of the Sith. And so when you saw this, Dylan, how'd you feel about Revenge of the Sith?
Well, so my funny story about when Revenge of the Sith first came out. I just turned 5, and my parents didn't let me go because they saw it was the first PG-13 Star Wars movie, and they're just like, okay, we should probably see this before we let him go see it. So they saw it like on opening night, and then they were just like, okay, yeah, let's wait till this comes out on DVD because of like the rain starts burning, and like then like Anakin killing the kids, or and yeah, just a bunch of other stuff in that movie that ultimately did terrify me when I first watched it. But like that was always my favorite. What?
Guy literally got burned in the movie, so
yeah. That was definitely my favorite prequel movie. It was, yeah, I loved that movie. Like that was always my favorite prequel movie, like by far when I was growing up and everything. And it was the one movie, like whenever people would criticize the prequels and stuff, that I was always like, nah, no, stop criticizing Revenge of the Sith, like stop. I'm like, that movie's great. And now it's basically, it's still the same, where I like that movie. I think that's my third favorite movie in the of the Star Wars movies. My like I'd put it just below Empire and New Hope, and then above Return of the Jedi. Yeah, everything about that movie, like involving like especially like Order 66 and the Anakin Obi-Wan duel, just like that stuff still gives me chills like watching it. Like I just recently watched it like a few weeks ago, and I was just like holy crap, like watching it, I'm just like, oh my god, I love this movie so much. So yeah, that's my stance on Revenge of the Sith.
Very nice.
Luke, what do you think about Revenge of the Sith?
Hmm?
Luke, what do you think of Revenge of the Sith?
I think Revenge of the Sith is a very lovely movie, all right? And why I say it's lovely is because it was very beautifully crafted, all right? You got the best visuals throughout the prequels, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the opening scene. And despite what you say about the CGI, Shad, because I see your face there looking a little
Attack of the Clones, man.
Sorry, but Attack of the Clones, the only best thing about Attack of the Clones is the fact that Padme is looking quite fine in there, all right? Revenge of the Sith actually has some good stakes, some good lines, and some good action, all right? Especially the opening scene, all right? Opening scene, great, all right?
I agree, but we were talking about the CGI, so.
Opening scene for Attack of the Clones, oh wait, I forget, all right? It was probably, the assassination? I just like that the opening was bam, in your face, and the ending was bam, also in your face. That's what I like about it. And all the way through, it was consistent. There was stuff going on, and it was all meaningful. Like there wasn't dumb lines that didn't need to be said, I don't think, and there wasn't stuff that that was meaningless to the plot, I don't think. So I do think this is a very well crafted movie, and yeah, that's my opinion on that. How about you, Shad?
I liked the movie. Every scene had a purpose to it. There's, like you said, there's no wasted scene. There's no unrelated scene. You look at Phantom Menace, Attack of Clones. There's a lot of scenes in there that they could have removed, and the movie would be just as good or bad as you think, as it is now. Like Revenge of the Sith, it was like they crafted it very well. Every scene had a role in the story. Every scene had it fit like a puzzle, pretty much. Right. And it's very, very. It's also very satisfying to see when you watch Phantom Menace, Attack of Clones, and then you finish it off. It's nice seeing it all come together, all the loose ends and stuff. So, yeah, it's also like you said earlier, the start scene. I like how they get into things right away. Like they don't wait and stuff. They don't do any exposition or anything. They just get into it. So I think definitely the best Star Wars movie, in my opinion.
Agree.
For me, yeah, it was. I can understand why Dylan says third. Yeah, because New Hope was excellent. So was Empire Strikes Back. Absolutely, and I can't argue that. And everybody has their own opinion about things, so I can't argue how people feel. But those were excellent movies, and to me, this movie from start to finish was just very powerful. I mean, like it starts off with like the ship's exploding. They're trying to get rid of Padme, and I was like, whoa, they even try to get her in her own room, and it was pretty exciting. The beginning to the whole thing. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen the whole thing, so I hope I'm getting this all right. But it was really exciting. It was really, the story. And I was like, at one point, I'm like, oh my God, he just killed Count Dooku. He kills Count Dooku in the beginning. And I'm like, I mean, they have this big duel and he's dead. He's dead. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So now they killed Dooku. Did they kill Grievous? I'm like, okay. So they killed the Grievous. So I'm like, how are they going to win this war? How does the Empire win? They just killed the two biggest guys on their side, and this is not the end of the movie. I'm like scratching my head, And when it plays out, and he's like, "I have the power to save your wife. We could find it together." And then he sees Mace about to kill him, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't let you kill him. I'm not going to let you kill him. I need him." And wow, I mean, he just was on a tear after that. He didn't care who he was killing, younglings, Jedis. He just, all his feelings went out the window. And the only thing I had questions about was the whole reason he did it was for Padme, you know. And then he kind of like, I'm like, wait a minute, you're killing everybody here, and you're killing younglings. You realize your wife's having kids, dude? I'm like, hello, what? And then he's like, I mean, it was really powerful because I was like, man, and especially the end when you have Obi-Wan telling him like, I loved you like a brother, and he's like, I hate you, and I'm like, wow, man, you felt the whole thing, you felt like, man, I failed you, I totally failed you, and I'm like, man, it was so when Filoni explains that the Phantom Menace duel between Qui-Gon and between Darth Maul was about Anakin. And I didn't think about it because I was just like, oh, this is an awesome lightsaber duel, like I said earlier. When Filoni says it's this duel that sets up the whole thing, because Anakin saw Qui-Gon as a father and saw Obi-Wan like a brother. So when he loses his stepfather, and he loses his mother, yeah, man, and now he's worried. He has attachments, he has fear, and Yoda did see it. This is why Yoda wasn't going to train him. I mean, if you remember the first movie, he said, no, we're not going to train him.
You know what I don't like? I don't like how Yoda gave in. He was just like, oh, fine, we'll let you train him. Like, he shouldn't have just given in to it because Obi-Wan was being stubborn.
Yeah, I think Qui-Gon was the one who convinced him, because Qui-Gon's like, listen, no Jedi has this kind of midichlorian count. You have to see that this guy is the chosen. He's the one that fills the prophecy, because he was so strong in believing that. Qui-Gon always fought against the council. Because he saw things that he saw what Count Dooku saw, because he was under Count Dooku, and Count Dooku was under Yoda. So he was different. That's why when Qui-Gon was training Obi-Wan and in Attack of the Clones, Dooku comes up to Obi-Wan. He saw Qui-Gon in him. He's like, he was trained by Qui-Gon. That's my boy. Maybe I can convince him to come with me and we could overthrow the Emperor. And he tells him the whole plan. In that movie, he says, listen, the Jedi are fooled. You guys are being run by a Sith Lord. And he's like, what are you talking about? Get out of here. You're lying to me. I'll never join you. My question is, and you guys saw, I know I'm jumping here. You guys saw the Clone Wars season 7, correct?
Oh, yeah.
So I want you to think about this and of what you think. Obi-Wan from Count Dooku finds out that they're being run by a Sith Lord. Maul tells Ahsoka Tano the same, that Anakin's turned and this is what's going to happen. Both of them have a chance to change the history, and they both don't take it. How do you think they feel later on, knowing that they both had an opportunity to stop all this from happening, and they didn't take that opportunity because they didn't believe? What do you think of this, guys?
Probably horrible, to be honest. I mean, I think more so Ahsoka, because, I mean, Obi-Wan, Dooku did drop some clues, but I feel like he just thought it was like mind games. He was just playing mind games with him, trying to turn him to the dark side. But Ahsoka, Maul was being really genuine to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could tell, like he wasn't joking around, but she's still, I think Ahsoka would probably feel like a lot horrible, very horrible.
Well, because he was like, that was not coming from a place of like, oh yeah, join me and then we can like rule whatever, and like it wasn't like, it wasn't like anything, it wasn't anything like what Darth Vader was pleading to Luke in Empire, but it was more like we can stop this from happening if you join me right now, like we can fix all of this. And then she's just like, no, I'll never do that because you're on the dark side. I don't want to have any affiliation with that. It's like, like I feel like she would. I mean, you kind of Like you kind of get that sense at the end of the last episode where she's just like standing there looking at all the like the clone helmets, just like you kind of get the sense that she's like, oh my god, like I could have, like maybe I could have done something to prevent this from happening, but I was like I didn't take that opportunity. And like yeah, I think that like you said, like she would feel worse than Obi-Wan because it's like Obi-Wan. I mean, obviously Obi-Wan was the one that trained Anakin, but but he never really like Dooku gave him an opportunity, but it also wasn't right before it happened. It was years prior. So I think that Ahsoka would definitely feel like devastated after that.
Luke?
Oh yeah.
Cat single.
Hey, there you go.
Oh my god.
All right.
Okay, Clone Wars season 7, right?
Even a little less. Let me help you out there. I said, how do you think Ahsoka Tano feels after Darth Maul said to her, look, Anakin's turned, but we can stop this. And Dooku tells Obi-Wan all about that they're being run by a Sith Lord. How do you think they feel after the fact that they were told this and had a chance to change history, but they didn't? How do you think they felt?
Well, I think they would feel like any normal person would feel about it. They'd probably be like, wow, holy crap, he was actually right. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, like, what would happen if we actually did listen to him? I myself, if I were Ahsoka, I don't know if I would really believe it either, because you got this Darth Maul who tried to kill Obi-Wan, tried to like, he was pretty much an enemy, and then you got Anakin, who's like your brother, or like your older brother. So I'm not sure I'd do anything different than she did, but obviously I don't know if she regrets it. Like obviously I don't think, because Darth Maul wanted to kill Anakin. I don't think she wanted to kill him at all. But I think maybe she probably would have gotten off Mandalore and gone to him and try to help, try to direct him in the right path. So that's why I think she thinks in her head, like, because in Rebels it says it all. I'm not going to leave you this time. I think she wishes she would go back to where she didn't leave the Jedi Order. That's why I think. So off that fight when she said, "I'm not going to leave you this time," so I think that's what she thinks. She probably regrets leaving him. So that's why I think she thinks in her head.
That cool guy Connor says if Maul had never told Ahsoka about Anakin, she probably would have joined him. I don't know. What do you guys think of that?
100%. She was about to, but
Yeah.
when he mentioned Anakin, he's like, no, he's lying to me now.
Yeah, because it was like you could see.
I bet she would have as well. I bet you right now, because she said yes in the first place, and then after she said yes, she was like, "What do you want with Anakin?"
Mm-hmm.
She already had.
Yeah, once he said like, "Oh yeah, he's been groomed to be like his next apprentice," it's like she's like, "Nah, no, you're lying," and then that was the end of that. Yeah, so I definitely think she would have joined if he hadn't mentioned that, but yeah.
And that's what makes me, wonder, like, again, I know people disagree when I say I doubted the Jedi and I have my, problems with it because the way the story was told. There's, like, again, there's an attachment, right? So Ahsoka has an attachment to Anakin, right? She can't accept the fact that he's turned. I can't accept that. I don't believe you. You're just lying to me. So, and then you have Anakin who has his attachments. So there was one scene which you guys mentioned when she's about to leave the Order, and Anakin turns his back and he goes, and he's facing us, and he goes, "Yeah, I know how you mean. I know how you feel. I want to leave the Order myself." So it shows you that some people think outside the box, that they don't believe in all that the Jedis were training them. So, see, this is where I have problems with the Jedi, because, again, Ahsoka tells Rex, she says, I was supposed to be a peacekeeper, and all I've ever done is fight, been a warrior. You know, I don't get it, because that's what I've always questioned, and I think that arc was was one of the best arcs I've ever seen in the Clone Wars, because it really expressed everything. It really told exactly what I was thinking about. I said, man, no one's ever said this, and then she comes out and says it, and I said, oh, that's exactly what I've been waiting for. Like, all you read is Jedi, and what does Obi-Wan Kenobi say to Luke? The Jedi are the peacekeepers of the galaxy. Yet they're in the Clone War, and they're not so peacekeeping.
No.
So, you guys saw the Clone Wars, right? So we'll get into that too real quick, and then I want to get into the sequel trilogy. Clone Wars. While I got you season 7, what did you guys think of Clone Wars? The 3 different arcs. I'll let you break it down.
Well, I'm with most people where I thought first arc, Siege of Mandalore, was really good, or pretty good. The second arc was definitely slow, and I didn't really care about what was going on with the 2 sisters on Coruscant. And then the third arc was, I thought the third arc was great, and it really wrapped up just everything, like it just tied up all the loose ends of like what was Ahsoka doing during Order 66 and everything, and like how like Rex responded to everything. It was like it's just really cool to see like how that played out on like a smaller scale from what we saw in Revenge of the Sith, where we saw like happen widespread across the galaxy. It's like we've seen a lot of that, or we've seen that already in other forms too, and it was just cool to see like character, like kind of like a character we've been following for so long, have to deal with the situation, how she got out of it, and how she was able to survive through that. And I thought the ending was great, but the middle was like the middle 4 episodes were like that's just me. I don't know what you guys thought.
Well, me and Shad both already talked about. We have some reviews about it, but we liked it. We liked the season. We thought it was pretty solid, especially the ending arc, just as much as you guys do. So that's mainly what we think about it. And again, we got reviews on it, so go ahead and check those out.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I think about the sisters arc, and I think the message, again, both arcs, both ending 2 arcs had messages. The ending arc, the middle mark was that the sister said, I know everybody sees the Jedi as heroes. That's what you guys think, but that's not true. And she mentions how they were trying to do one mission, wound up killing their parents, their orphans, and all they're told is, may the Force be with you, and they walk away. Like, okay, sorry, but And to me, I mean, that would incense me. That would make me like, are you kidding me? Look what just happened here. And now you're going to walk away, and we can barely take care of each other? So their mistrust showed, their anger showed. And to me, it was so understandable. And I said, these are the things, that's why I love this season. This was showing me the things I've always questioned. I know those people say, oh, the Jedi, the heroes, ends the story. I don't want to think nothing else. I'm like, no, there's a lot more to this. There's a lot more deeper than what most people look at. And this, to me, was perfect because the message got conveyed, and then Ahsoka told her message, and this is exactly what Dooku was trying to say. You guys are not, you don't get it. You think you're doing the right thing here, and you're not. You're being played. And I just think that's why I think Star Wars was so beautiful, and the prequels and the whole first 6 episodes, the Clone Wars, because it just tells a whole story of how one person was able to fool every other person, and he got everybody to play along to gain power. And I thought it was like just so brilliant, so well thought out. And he even had, well, if this happens, I got this plan. And if that goes wrong, then I'll do this. And he was prepared. Like everything was so well calculated by Palpatine. I thought it was genius. But then the question comes, and I'm going to ask you guys, now we'll talk about the sequel trilogy. What the hell happened? What did you guys think after you saw The Force Awakens?
So after I saw The Force Awakens, I my initial reaction was like I thought it was great. I was just super excited to have Star Wars back because again that was the first Star Wars movie I'd seen in the theater.
Right.
I was super. I was just like I was happy to have that on, and I had some. Well, it was also like it was my second year of high school, and high school sucked. Long story short, but and that was just like cool. Like all my friends were like so excited to see Star Wars and everything. And it was like finally like Star Wars was all of a sudden cool, and I was just like, oh okay. Like this, it was like something that everyone was talking about, and like that was just really cool. Like at school, people were like speculating who Rey's parents were, and I'm like, this is stuff that I usually like that no one cares about, but now I'm able to talk about with a bunch of different people. Because it was like mostly at school, people just thought I was like just a big sports fan, but it was like I was a huge Star Wars fan too, and all this stuff. But like no one really talked about that stuff, and I was just like excited to finally have people talking about Star Wars in like regular conversations, just anyone, as opposed to just being nerdy. And I was just like seeing Han and Chewie again, and like seeing Leia, and just seeing like all the like X-wings, TIE fighters, all the stuff that was in the original trilogy. And I didn't really think about how I didn't care really that it was kind of a rip off of A New Hope. At the time, I was like, but I enjoyed it. It was great. But now I look at it and it's like, okay, this really was just a bunch of setup that ultimately didn't get paid off in that movie or in the next two movies, or it was paid off in questionable ways by Bryan Johnson. And it just in that like now I can't like it feels so hollow to me. Like I don't have any. Like if I watch it, I don't have any like joy while I watch it. While it's like any other Star Wars movie, I can find like there's at least something there that I can really appreciate. While The Force Awakens, it just feels so. It feels like product more than it feels like a continuation of the story. That's just how I feel about it now. But yeah.
Shad, are you there? I don't know if Shad's there.
I don't know. I think he's a little bit busy with the Leia, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, go ahead, Luke.
All right. I think that The Force Awakens was the start of the bad road. You know what I'm saying? Like the start of. I think a lot of people blame it on The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
What happens? Mm-hmm. But it all started with the first part, the first movie, and this is why I like The Last Jedi more than I do The Force Awakens, because. Last Jedi tried something new. Force Awakens didn't. Force Awakens started this whole mess. Last Jedi didn't. I mean, you gotta take it from this consideration. Ryan Johnson couldn't really work with crap like from Episode 7. Like there wasn't a lot to work with. There wasn't a lot to do, and I get a lot of people hate him. He hasn't always done the best stuff. He doesn't have the best track record. But I'm sorry, but J.J. Abrams is what started this whole crap, this whole mess of story. And I don't like it. It's actually my least favorite Star Wars movie, Episode 7.
So did you think that right away, or did that change over time?
The first time I saw it, I was like, okay, it's all right. I didn't like that they're stormtroopers.
No, I didn't either.
First Order troopers, whatever you want to call. I didn't like that. I didn't like that there's the Resistance, which is the rebellion. I was like, okay, I don't like that. I don't like that it was small. I was like, if prequels were made into 2000s and they can have a big universe, why is this not a big? Doesn't feel like a big universe to me. And it's in 2015, so I was like, okay, I don't like that, but it was a fine movie. It was okay, but then later on, slowly it went from okay to bad because I'm like, first off, I don't like all that stuff, but now it's adding on and more stuff, like came onto it, so. It's just not a fan for me. Again, it's what started this whole mess in the first place. So, not a fan. That's why I thought about it.
Yeah, I definitely agree that like a lot of people still are blaming The Last Jedi, and like my friends that I talked to about this a lot with, a lot of them say, well, I still enjoy The Force Awakens. And I'm like, go back and watch it. There's nothing going on.
Exactly.
Like,
I feel so bored watching. I don't want to watch it again.
Here's something that was funny. Was me and a friend of mine that was actually my friend Ryan, who was actually on my first live stream. We went and saw The Last Jedi together. And we before we watched it, we went and we watched like not in one day, but over the course of the week, we watched the end of Rogue One, leading into A New Hope, and then we watched Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and then the day of we were watching The Force Awakens. And I was just sitting there, I'm like, why am I bored while I'm watching this? I'm like, I feel bored. I don't I'm not enjoying what I'm watching, even though I had watched it I saw it 3 times in the theater and thought it was great. And then now I'm watching, I'm like, what's going on here? And then The Last Jedi, I was just like, oh, okay. So they really didn't have any plan here. They just were making stuff. And that's why I was bored watching The Force Awakens that time. And it was just it made me realize it didn't start with The Last Jedi. It started with The Force Awakens. And that's what I'm trying to explain to people. It's yeah, you may have liked it first, but go watch it now. And knowing what happens after, and you'll be like, oh, well, what is this? There's nothing here. And yeah, you said that perfectly.
I got to say, when I first saw The Force Awakens, again, I had that, oh my God, awesome, another 3 Star Wars movies. Again, I thought it was over with. And again, I was pumped again. So a lot of hype. That's why the thing sold so many tickets. It was the most watched movie until Endgame, of course. The highest grossing movie, I should say. And I was pretty pumped. And right away, I loved the first half of that movie. I love when Kylo Ren has got the blast up in the air from Poe Dameron. He's talking to him. Poe's being a tough guy. Oh, you talk, I talk. I love that. He came out intimidating presence. I thought that was good. I enjoyed that. And then the movie took a turn for the worse. And that's when, like you guys said, this is when it all started. It didn't start till halfway through the movie. When she gets captured and he's trying to use the dark side on her to find out where the map is for Luke, then all of a sudden she bounces back and he's nervous and he's like, oh my God, what the hell? I gotta go run the Snook and I gotta tell him what's going on. And I'm like, what the hell? And why'd you take your mask off? Darth Vader never took his mask off, He didn't care who said what when Princess Leia got in his face and said, oh, I should know the Tarkins has your leash. He never took off his mask. He's like, screw you. I don't care. He was tough. It didn't bother him. Where Kylo was like, oh my God, what do I do? I don't know how to handle this. Like, dude, really? And he went from this intimidating presence to this whiny bitch. And I'm like, oh no, man, he's smashing things up and what is going on here? And then all of a sudden she does all this Force stuff. Oh, you're going to let me go. Okay. Oh, you're going to drop your blaster. Okay. The Force was used in these sequel trilogies throughout to solve any problem they had. Any problem. All they had to do was use some special Force power, and she knows everything. And then this was what bothered me the most, and I know this doesn't bother some other people, but really irks my chain, is that you were trained by Jedi Master, the legend Luke Skywalker,
Right.
and you are beat. You get beat by someone who has never held a lightsaber. Now, if you're going to give me the stuff that she was very good with the staff, you're right. But using a wooden staff does not compare to using a lethal weapon like a lightsaber. And it's usually a technique, and there's a Form 1, Form 2, Form 3. I don't know that deep about it. I know about it. So
here's the thing, though, for the Kylo and Rey thing.
Good.
One thing that you can kind of look at in defense, at least to Kylo Ren, because I try to think about that myself, is he just killed his. He first off, he gets shot in the stomach by Chewbacca. Okay, He gets shot in the stomach. He's bleeding out in his stomach. He just killed his father. So not only is his body injured, he's not mentally in the right mind. So yes, I don't think she still should have beaten him. But at the same time, if you take those things into consideration, and adding on her, bow training, whatever, I mean, if you kind of try to look at it from that perspective, it gets a little bit better. But ultimately, it is down to the Mary Sue thing, and you can tell that he didn't. If he was not injured and he did not just kill his father, he would have beaten her because in episode 9, he was about to kill her, and then I don't know, but he won. She fell to the ground. He won, and then Leia does the whole thing, and he gets distracted, and then she stabs him. He won that battle, and in episode 9, I'd say it's a draw. Yeah, whatever. But I think Kylo Ren is stronger. It's just in episode 7 stuff went wrong. That's how I view it a little. I think.
Dylan?
Like on that whole piece.
Yeah.
Like on okay. Yeah,
on Kylo Ren and Rey. Like, what did you think about?
Like in just The Force Awakens, or over the whole trilogy?
Well, whatever, Force Awakens, or you can go over the whole sequel, whichever you prefer is fine.
Yeah, that was the thing. Is it like I just had such a hard time with like the fact that Rey at the beginning of the movie, and like not much time passes in this movie. It's like it's not like it's not like Empire where you have Luke having visible training. It's like Rey doesn't do any training at all. She starts at the beginning of the movie. She thinks the Jedi and Luke Skywalker are a myth, essentially. And by the end of the movie, she's beating Kylo Ren in a battle to pull a lightsaber towards her. And it's like, how would she have how would she be that in tune with the Force? Something that she just found out, like something that she just recently found out that she had any ability in at all. How would she do something
She
like
found out that very day about it.
What?
She found out literally the same day that she beat.
Yeah. Yeah, and like the Jedi mind trick, like how would she know how to do that? It's like if she never saw it.
No one taught her.
Huh?
No one even taught her about the existence of that.
Exactly. It's never mentioned. She never says, "Oh, like Jedi mind tricks." Like she doesn't even mention it. So it's like, how would she know that that's something she could do and have it work on a stormtrooper? And it's just like there's so many conveniences that happen in the movie that like I just didn't care about when I was when I first watched it, and but like the next year or so afterwards, and now it's like I look at that and I realize like I'm by giving those things a pass, it's doing a disservice to the old Star Wars movies, because it's like in the original trilogy, Luke earns he gets, okay, let's just be honest, he gets his ass kicked in Empire Strikes Back when it's like he's clearly not ready to. He's clearly not ready to go fight Vader. Obi-Wan tells him not to. Yoda tells him not to, but he does anyway, and he gets his ass kicked. And it's like, and that's the reason that's satisfying. Like that we're able to watch that and be like, okay, like, and be satisfied with it. Like seeing our hero lose is that it's like, well, I mean, he made the wrong decision. He shouldn't have done that. Right. And then he ultimately, after another year of training, and he's much more refined and is able to. I mean, he beats Vader, but then he can't do anything against the Emperor. So it's like that makes sense. It's like all the things in the original trilogy, they make sense from like a learning perspective, from a storytelling perspective. While in the sequels, right, stuff just happens. It's like Rey just knows how to do force healing, and Kylo, like, she knows how to heal a lightsaber wound to the gut without any sort of repercussions towards her, and then Kylo knows how to bring her back from the dead, and it's just like there's just so many different things with the Force that it just, like, they introduced midichlorians in the prequels, which a lot of people had problems with, but it's like,
right,
there wasn't any crazy new Force powers like force projection or force healing or stuff like that they introduced out of nowhere. It was mostly just applications of stuff we'd seen in the originals. And it just felt like they decided, oh, we have the Force. Right. So that means we can do whatever we want in the sequels. And that's, that started with The Force Awakens.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. Let me just get to Connor and then I'll. Okay, hold on. Connor says, in The Force Awakens, we see in Ray's vision Kylo and his boys in the rain. Oh, I don't know.
It's been gone for a while.
It's a good point. He said, The Force Awakens, we see Ray's vision, right, of Kylo and the Knights of Ren in the rain. I'm not sure if it's true, but JJ wanted Kylo and the Knights of Ren to kill her parents, but Ryan Johnson changes it. He said, don't forget that pain makes the Sith stronger with the Force. But I did like the Finn versus Kylo fight because Finn lost and put up a good fight, and that's true. I forgot about Finn and Kylo, and that was good too. But here's what I hated about that: we get to the Last Jedi, which is like, well, what, 1 day later, which I think is absurd. How do you make it 1 day later? I mean, there's no time for any kind of recovery, and it's like 1 day later, and then Finn gets up like, oh, okay, oh, where's Rey? Like, dude. You just hit a lightsaber and rips up your back. Right. And you're just like, hey, what's going on? I'm ready to go.
Yeah, that was something that, like, when it first happened, I was like, I heard, and, like, you know, there was the cliffhanger at the end of The Force Awakens. I was thinking about that. I'm like, wait, we just saw Finn get just destroyed by, like, in his back. And then the next movie is going to take place, like, right after the first one. And I was just thinking, like, how is that going to work? How are they going to do that? And it's fine. Like, they don't even address it at all. They're just like, oh, yeah, he's good. He's walking around now. Totally fine. Lightsaber to the back. It's fine. It would have been one thing if they'd had, like, on the side of his back or something, but it's, like, straight up his spine. And then they expect us to believe he's fine just, like, the next day. And it's like, it's stuff like that where they just make ridiculous leaps that you're just like, oh, okay, I can't. It breaks the immersion, really. It's just like, well,
right,
yeah, like it feels like the story, like the universe isn't as nearly as well thought out as the sequels or the prequels or the originals, of course.
What are your thoughts on that, Luke? What do you think?
Honestly, I think he said it pretty damn well. Honestly, I don't think you have to add anything onto that. That was pretty good. The way you described it. One thing that I do want to add on though is how Finn was trained his whole life not to be a Jedi. But first off, in episode 9, I don't know if you know, but he was Force sensitive. They made him Force sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
So Finn's Force sensitive. Then he doesn't know how to use a lightsaber. He doesn't know how to use anything. And he gets his ass kicked. And he's Force sensitive, Jedi, whatever. Rey's not even really a Jedi. They're Force users now. And Rey is in the same situation, but she wins. She has no training, and Finn has some training. So if there were to be anyone, if you were to, like, swap it out, like, have Finn be, like, in Rey's position, it would be a little bit more believable. And why isn't Finn... Why couldn't Finn become a Jedi? Why did Rey have to? You know what I mean? What a Force user stormtrooper, ex-stormtrooper. That sounds sick. That
would have been cool.
But where have you been, man? What the heck?
You gotta do stuff.
So yeah, I think that Finn was a character that was totally wasted.
And then you got Scavenger, some loser scavenger on the lonely nobody desert, and then you got ex stormtrooper. What sounds cooler, right?
Well, here's my question: why did they leave Rey with this guy? I forgot his name, Kaplunk or whatever. I forgot his name. But, like, of all the people, you put her there with this guy. Like, that, your explanation is all because she's a Palpatine, so we don't want to get found, right? But this is the guy you pick? Yeah. Of all the people in the galaxy, you pick him. Why? I would never even think of putting him, this guy who's not going to care about my daughter. And you could see right away he's grabbing her up, like, come with me. Like, you're nothing. You're nobody. You're garbage. Like, you ain't going to treat my daughter like that. I don't care what's going on in my life. And I just think it was horrible. I think it's really stupid, if you ask me. You with somebody who doesn't even care about you. Like, why would you do that?
Right.
I think it makes sense that they left her in the hands of that dude from The old dude in the beginning of episode 7.
Lawson Teka.
Yeah, that would have made sense for him a little bit.
I agree.
Mhm.
I agree. I think so. We were saying, Shaq, because you missed it. We were talking about how the Last Jedi is one day later. Finn gets his back ripped by Kylo Ren, and then he's fine. He's perfect. And he's healthy. So this will bring us to the Last Jedi, and you guys said how the Force Awakens, which I agree, is what led into the Last Jedi, and it just added to it, to this entire spiral. But I'm going to let Dylan talk about it, so you guys can tell me what your thoughts on the Last Jedi.
Well, the Last Jedi again. I tried to convince myself for a while that that movie was great, and because I was still excited about there being new Star Wars and everything, and I wanted to, like, I didn't want the new trilogy to be bad. I wanted it to be great. I wanted it to be just like the originals, and then it took me a while. It took me a lot of watching videos and stuff on YouTube to finally convince me. And I was just like, by the time I got there, I was just like, man, I can't, I kept coming up with defenses for the movie. I was like, no, but this is fine because of this. And I was just like, nah, it's just too, like, no, like, I can't do it anymore. It's like, this is like I was basically writing the script for Rian Johnson and all of them. And I was just like, nah, it's not worth it anymore to argue about this. I just, like, it's not a good movie. And same with The Force Awakens. And I was just like, I felt dejected. I was just like, man, that I was so excited to see more Star Wars, and now it's, like, even though it was never like really good from the beginning, it's like now it's like we know it's not good. I know it's not good. I was sad for a while, and actually now, like Luke said, I do actually enjoy the Last Jedi more than The Force Awakens.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Yeah, because The Force Awakens, because also Han is my favorite character from the originals, and that movie destroys Han, and it's like completely undoes his entire arc from the originals. He just goes back to being a smuggler. He's a deadbeat dad. He like doesn't care about he's
like
care about the rebellion. Huh?
Sounds like a loser to me. Luke and Han were losers.
Yeah, exactly. So like, and yeah, like now I look at it and I'm just like, I can't watch. I can't. I mean, I don't like any of the movies, any of the sequel movies, but it's like
You gotta admit though, Last Jedi is entertaining. Like if you go down and sit down and watch Force Awakens, it's a snooze fest. You're gonna go to bed.
Yeah.
But The Last Jedi, it actually is quite a bit entertaining. If you
I think obviously we've seen the trilogies before I went to the movie, so we knew what these characters were. But I feel like for the newer generation of Star Wars fans, like for the kids who are like, let's say 10 now, I feel like it is an all right. Like it's I feel like to them it's probably a good movie. Like I'm telling you right now, in 10 years, people are probably gonna be defending the sequels. They're like, oh, sequels weren't that bad, because a lot of people have grown up with it. And I feel like for people who
wait. What's there to defend?
No, I'm just saying that it isn't horrible as movies when you look at it. That's my opinion. But when you factor in the rest of the trilogies, it is kind of inconsistent. But for people who are new to Star Wars, this is their first Star Wars movie, Episode 7, they're not going to recognize that it's like Episode 4 because they haven't watched Episode 4. Same thing with Episode 8 and like there's different force powers that shouldn't even exist, like the healing thing. Well, a lot of them aren't going to notice that stuff. But for people who do, I do think it isn't. It's a little inconsistent, but I'll give it some credit for bringing new people into Star Wars, like the newer generation of kids and stuff that are getting into Star Wars. So, yeah.
Yeah, to me, The Last Jedi was a ship running out of fuel, just waiting to pick them apart. And that was the whole movie. And I was a political statement on Canto Bight to show politics and how the rich get richer, and this is how your ships are made, and they're playing both sides. And Okay, great. Thanks for sharing your message, Disney, Lucasfilm. Thanks for that's the message you want to get across to us. Thank you. Didn't need to hear it. Thought it was a waste of time, but thanks for who the hell puts a ship in the most obvious place? If you're trying to be quiet and just say, we'll leave it right here. No one will notice it. It's right in the open, right by where we got to go. I'm too lazy to. Let's just leave it here. Don't worry. No one could have noticed us. Like, really? Okay, really? And then you get caught. It's like, and then people's like, well, where the hell did DJ came from? And if you could always get out, why the hell was you waiting for them? And I was like, yeah, there's a lot of some stupid things here. And the worst scene of all to me, the most disgusting scene of Star Wars of any movie, I don't care, Solo, Rogue One, I don't care what movie you pick. This is the worst, in my opinion, scene of everything. When Finn is going out epically, he's going to save the Resistance. You got this epic, like, oh man, I'm sitting there like, this is the first scene. I was like, yes, here we go. We got something here. And here comes Rose, crashes into him. They're both fine, by the way. And she's supposedly knocked out. Remember, in front of the whole entire First Order. Okay, they don't have force. And magically, they wind up all the way back at the base before the First Order troopers do. Nobody does anything to them. And they're like, come on, let's get Falcon. Let's go. Like, weren't you just in a severe accident? How the hell? And then, like, it seems like fine. Like, if you're going that speed, that fast, and you get into a crash, believe me, you're not going to get up and say, hey, I'm good. Hi. This, hey, we got to walk back miles. What, you don't think all these walkers here are going to shoot at us? You don't think somebody's going to come out and capture us or something?
Yeah.
It was so, like,
okay,
this.
Rob.
Yes.
I think we understand your disgust for the movie. I think we understand.
It's not the disgust for the movie; it's the disgust for that scene in particular.
If I may add, I would have loved it a lot better. I would like this movie a lot better if Finn had died, because that would have gave him at least like a purpose in the movie. Like in our current trilogy, Finn doesn't do anything. All he does is shout "Ray, Ray, Ray" for like the entire trilogy. But, yeah, exactly. But if he actually dies in this, he would at least had a.
In The Rise of Skywalker, he does nothing. They like forget about him. He's like,
no. He has force abilities. He has his he has more Ray calling to do and more Ray following to do. So
that's another stupid thing I think Disney did. Like, what's the point of making him force sensitive, man? Like, how is this gonna? It's not really gonna affect anything. Like, what are you gonna make a new sequel? I don't know.
And why is that the thing that he wants to tell Ray as they're about to die? Like, oh, Ray, I'm force sensitive. How's that gonna help?
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, if I were to be like, okay.
Yeah, it'd be like, oh, you're gonna tell me that now? Thanks. It's like, as opposed to before.
I thought that Finn was gonna be like, because from The Force Awakens, they had a little chemistry going on. You could tell that Finn was kind of like a little bit. He was liking her a little bit. And then Last Jedi, for some reason, he's got this weird little Asian girl following him all around, and all of a sudden he likes her. And now and then Episode 9, he just doesn't like her anymore. I thought he was gonna be like, I kind of think you're hot, or something like that. That would have been better than being like, oh, I'm force sensitive. I kind of liked you. That would have made more sense a little bit.
Yeah.
That's at least what I thought in my head. What he was trying to say. I was like, oh, he's going in for it. He's going in.
Honestly, this whole trilogy would have been all the same without Finn. Like, they could have just scrapped the character as a whole and just like went along with it. I probably would like the trilogy a little bit more as well without Finn, because he's utterly purposeless as character.
I mean, I think there's a couple things they could have done with this movie that would have saved it. My idea, which I did a video way long ago, was what if Rose Tico was a First Order spy? And the reason she did everything was because it was all set up. Like, the reason DJ was there, it was all set up so they could capture Finn. That was the whole point. The reason that Rose was zapped him and make sure he's on the ship was all about the First Order, they had this all planned out, and they were using Rose. I said, if she was a spy and then she gets killed in episode 9, like she was going to kill Finn or something, she's like, that's it. I'm going to kill you. Phasma couldn't do it. I'm going to finish what Phasma couldn't do, and then maybe Poe comes and saves him or something. I would have thought that would have been great.
Yeah,
also,
they could have. Her motivation could have been like maybe the Resistance is like pretty much sacrifice her sister to because they're too reckless. I don't know. I think that would have been better than what we got. I mean, what we got is basically completely expected.
Listen, what we got is a polished shit. Okay, yeah, anything would be better than that.
Yeah. Plus, I think instead of bringing up Palpatine again, they could have brought Thrawn in. I mean, that would have been cool.
But the reason Palpatine's in is because of what Johnson did. Johnson killed the main villain of the movie in the second movie. I mean, I also thought that the Rise of the Last Jedi was more of an ending than a middle movie.
Yeah, you know what I don't like? How J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson are doing this. Like, J.J. Abrams is like, here's episode 7, and Rian Johnson is just like, that's pretty much it. That's it right there. He's just like, F your episode 7. I'm gonna make this. You know, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all. I don't like that. And then he comes back and he does that. Boom. Over to episode 8. Like, what is this? Like, is this little kids fighting over which movie's better or what? Like, stupid.
Yeah, it's like a tug of war between Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams.
Right.
And I'm telling you right now, none of them are. I don't think that either of them are necessarily good Star Wars directors. I don't think they.
No.
I think
No.
they picked the wrong directors for these films. Honestly, I would have been fine if they bought George Lucas again for all 3 movies. That would have been great.
Honestly, the movies might actually they wouldn't actually. No, they would be good movies because he knows what, they'd be completely different. It would have been completely different. I remember how he was talking about how I will sign these papers, but you guys gotta at least, do like my ideas. Like, I want to work with you guys.
Yeah,
and he's like, okay, take a look at your ideas. They look at his ideas, they threw it away. They're like, we don't want this. And I think that's what hurt him. And she kind of lied to him because she said she'd, try to give it a chance, but she didn't even do that. And I'm sorry, but what they made, I don't know who in the right mind thought that what they made was better than what George Lucas. I bet you right now what George Lucas had in store is a lot better than the crap we got right now. I don't understand their logic. You should never trust big companies with franchises because they ruin it. All the big franchises, they're just going to ruin them. That's what corporates do. Money. So.
Well, I agree with something you said way before, Luke. You said that they didn't have a plan. And I feel that, listen, a big argument is here. Kathleen Kennedy lied. George sat there with her and said, I gave you a treasure trove of stuff. She said, he just gave us a blueprint. Total lie. He had 7, 8, and 9 planned. They decided they didn't want to go with it. And they had no plan. They just wanted to make money, like you said. It was all about, here's a Star Wars label. Let's make money. That's it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I hate to interrupt things, but I have to go eat dinner.
Oh, okay, Dylan. You want to plug your channel before you go?
Yeah. So for anyone,
I have to get going soon too. I have to get going soon as well.
So do I. I'll be honest with you. I was going to end the stream in 15, but go ahead.
So yeah, my channel is Discussions with Dylan. I'm gonna be talking about Star Wars, Marvel, Jurassic Park, and all sorts of other things, geek culture, whatever I happen to want to talk about on that particular video. And I'll be doing sports videos, theme park videos. I'll just be doing a bunch of different stuff. I'll have live streams with my friends on there, and then different people from the Fandom Menace. Already got Drunk 3PO and Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers on there, and that was awesome to have for my first stream. So anyone who wants to, just come check out my channel, and please subscribe if you want to, and I'll be sure to subscribe to you guys as well.
Dylan, thanks for being here, and I hope you'll come back again. Hopefully we can do this again, man. It was a pleasure having you.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
See you guys later.
And then there were three. So Kenobi, there's some good points here. He says at least 9 isn't as trash as 8. At least 9 didn't kill Palpatine midway through the movie.
Oh.
Connor says, why did The Rise of Skywalker have Palpatine be confirmed in the opening credits? At least have some suspense. You don't have to tell us in the beginning. What do you guys think of that?
They revealed in the trailers, so I don't know.
Here's the thing. Episode 7, I didn't like. Episode 8, I thought was okay. And episode 9, it's just the blandest, average movie I've ever seen in a Star Wars movie. Like, I am so indifferent about the movie, honestly. Like, it literally brought nothing new, but I don't hate it either. It's just, it's there. 7, I don't like, and then 8 is probably my favorite out of the sequels.
I hate it because it's so manufactured. It's like they wanted to fix everything that they messed up in episode 8. Like it's like
checkpoints. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Yeah. Let's do this. Let's do this. You know what I mean? And that's not what's supposed to be about. That's not what should have been happening. Yeah, and I think episode 8, in my opinion, it's the best out of the sequels. Although none of them are really that good.
I don't know. I haven't watched episode 7 in a while, so I'm not really sure about that.
Episode 7 is the worst one for sure.
The only thing I liked about 7 was I liked how they had the characters intermingle. I thought he did that well. I just don't like what he did towards the last half of the movie. I just felt like, she has all these powers, like Dylan and you guys said. Where did they come from? How did you get this?
The whole Star Killer stuff, man. You kidding me? Third time. I don't know. I think J.J. Abrams needs to be more creative with his movies, because if that's all the creativity he's got, then he shouldn't be a director, dude. Another Death Star, pretty much. That's why he did.
How about this? What is the point of having all these ships with these beams that are supposed to destroy planets again, and they're all lined up and they go down like they're dominoes? Like, oh, here's a bunch of our ships. We're gonna easily destroy you. Where's the fight? What is that about? It was like Palpatine versus everybody. It was hard. I thought it was horrible.
I agree.
Yep.
They did try to listen. They did try to get from Legends, get movie ideas from Legends, but I think they incorporated it in the wrong way, and they picked the wrong stuff from Legends. Like, I don't like the fact that Palpatine got re-revived, even in Legends. I think that's kind of stupid, because I think it ruins the whole Anakin sacrificing himself and stuff. So I think it's kind of weird. They picked.
That's the main reason I don't like Episode 9. The fact that Anakin, him being the chosen one, him ending everything. This is like, well, what? Race the chosen one? It destroys the purpose of it. And that's why I think I don't like Episode 9 that much.
Since you brought that up, Luke, what about Jyn Erso? Do you feel that some said now, they also did that with Jyn Erso? Because if it wasn't for Jyn Erso, the rebels wouldn't have had the plans. So it's like, but wait a minute, if it wasn't for Luke, the Star Destroyer wouldn't have been blown up. So some people say Rogue One was made purposefully to not make Luke as important. What do you guys think of that?
I disagree. Yeah, I disagree with that one as well.
Because even in Episode 4, I don't know, they had to get the plans from somewhere.
Yeah, they did. And hey, Luke's not any less important. He's still the one that blew it up.
Yeah, it's not Jyn Erso one.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious that he's not the one that found that found it. Doesn't matter if he's the one that found it. He blew it up.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Even in Episode 4, he wasn't the one who found it. So nothing's changed. But
in Episode 6, it deliberately said, Episode 6, you're dead. Episode 9 is no, he's not. That is literally contradicting each other and ruining the purpose of Anakin's character. That's why I hate it a lot, because they ruined his character. They didn't ruin Anakin's character, but they ruined the purpose of the Chosen One prophecy, pretty much. What's the point of him being the Chosen One to bring balance if the dude's just gonna come back? I mean, that's why my thoughts on it.
I agree. I agree. They did basically, and I think everybody across the board thinks this, except for the people who loved it. They don't see it. Basically, I agree. The younger people don't get it. The older people get it, or some people really diehards get it. That you had original characters. The whole purpose was the story of them,
Right.
and Anakin is the chosen one. Now it's about Rey, and their characters are garbage, and everybody's loser, and everybody's not important. And oh, Rey, you should rise and beat him like I did. Like, what are you talking about? You're the one, man. You're the one. You know, and I see people edit it where they have Force Ghost, Anakin defeats him, and I was like, yeah, that's how it should be. It should have been his Force Ghost came back to help Rey, and that's why they're Force Ghosts. They all teamed up to beat Palpatine. That would have been great, and they didn't do that. I just felt it was a major disappointment. This whole thing is just a entire mess. I'm just gonna read some more comments, and then you guys can put your channel in, and we'll get it going. So Retro Scotty came in. Obi-Wan Kenobi's here. Connor.
Actually, I do gotta get going.
You gotta get
I
going.
do gotta get going. Yeah.
All right, I'll finish with the chat then. If you guys want to plug your channel, go right ahead.
All right, so yeah, make sure you're subscribed to our channel, Kevin Crew.
Yes.
We do Star Wars and stuff, and we're planning on basically branching out to other stuff. So yeah.
Crew, always a pleasure. Thank you guys for being
All
here.
right, see ya.
And I'll see you guys soon. Take care.
Take care.
All right, so it's just me. So I'm going to finish this up. I've got to get to the comment section. First off, I want to say Real Views stopped by and said, hey, everyone. Rosetta Allen, who's been great to me, he always says, hi, guys. I love you all. Connor, where was we with Connor? Connor said, what do you guys think of the Solo movie? I guess I'm just going to answer this because I honestly liked it. I did too, Connor, to be honest with you. And you could put your link to your channel in the comment section, by the way, because without a link, no one can check out your channel. I'm just letting you know that's what YouTube did on live streams. Connor says, to me, it felt like the only new Star Wars movie that felt like the original trilogy, plus the actor who played Han did great. I liked it. I think I'm all for make Solo 2 happen. I really enjoyed the movie. There's some things I would have edited out, so I can't say it was perfect because it wasn't. I didn't like how Han met Chewie. I think that they should have stuck with the books. And the books basically says that Han saved Chewie. He refused to torture him, and because the Wookiees were slaves, and he refused to do that, and that's how Han met Chewie, and I think that's how they should have stuck with the story, and they didn't do that. But I loved Solo. I thought it was a good movie. I really enjoyed the Woody Harrelson did a great job. Danny Glover. I wasn't so thrilled with the droid. That was kind of having feelings for Lando. I thought that was stupid. I would have done without the worm being the gang leader. I thought that was stupid. Some people didn't like how he got his last name. Yeah, so there's some things I would have taken out of the movie. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. It was very enjoyable. I got a Star Wars feel from it. I agree with you, Connor. What else did I say? He said that. Scotty says, hey, Obi-Wan says, Kathleen Kennedy leaves at the end of the year. Let's hope whoever replaces her is better. I agree. I hope you're, I agree with you on that. I hope whoever does replace her is better. I hope she's gone. I hope she doesn't take the CEO spot. That's what I'm hoping. Retro Scotty says we could only hope. He says, yeah, I'll say this. At least JJ doesn't do shaky cam. What do you mean shaky? I'm not sure what he means. But Connor says they could have made us think it was a Sith Force Ghost. That would have been interesting. That's true. And Scotty says, good point, Connor. And again, Connor says, Rob, if you want to check out my main channel, here's the link. I don't see the link anywhere. So make sure you put the link in. Retro Scotty says, did you recently hear that Mortis was the original villain and not Palpatine? And bringing back Palpatine was Iger's idea. No, I did not know that, actually. Maybe I would have known that if I would have. I don't know where you got that, but that's pretty cool. I did not know that. But I think Palpatine was only in there for fan service, just to appease everybody, to get people back into Star Wars. So they were like, how are we going to get? Well, we'll throw Lando in. Okay, guess what? We'll throw in Palpatine. We'll bring back some of those characters. Let's do some fan service. And I also feel like Luke, who was on this channel from the Entertainment Crew, said earlier that basically Palpatine was there because of fan service, but he's also there because Johnson killed off the bad. And when Snoke was gone, I always say Snoke, but Snook. When Snook was gone, that was it. That's where this went wrong. It's not just The Last Jedi. This is also The Force Awakens. I agree with both Dylan and Luke who said that. Kenobi said, we need to recanonize The Force Unleashed and Star Wars Old Republic. God, man, you hit it on the ball, Mr. Kenobi. And hello there, by the way, General Kenobi. You are a bold one. I agree. I think that if they did the Old Republic or the EU and they did a trilogy, people are going to be like, here's my money, take it. I bet you if they did the EU right, have one person write the story, plan it out, it would, forget it. It's going to be like Endgame. It would be blockbuster. People would flock to the theater to see it. I don't care how anybody feels at this point. I feel they did the Old Republic, the EU, the Force Unleashed, anything like that, man. And the Force Unleashed was a phenomenal game. I wish they would make a third one because it was off the hook. And one was better than two. It was a phenomenal game. Kenobi again says Palpatine coming back basically said F you to Anakin's story arc. Yes, and Luke said that, and I agree with you. Totally. That's exactly what it did. But what said more F you was, let's say Palpatine survived. Okay, that's a cool idea. I could go with that. But let's do what a lot of these YouTubers are doing, and I think I'll do a reaction video, that they're having Anakin and the Force Ghosts help defeat Palpatine. One even had Anakin killing Palpatine as a Force Ghost. And I'm gonna do. I think I'll do a video to show you guys. I think it's pretty awesome, and I think that's the route they should have gone. Kind of says they need a Netflix, Disney Plus live action TV show, The Old Republic. I don't know if they're doing that. We've heard that if you haven't heard, there's more coming, live action shows coming. They haven't made an announcement. Speculation is Ahsoka Tano. Speculation is Boba Fett. I don't know. Maybe that's why they're throwing all these characters in The Mandalorian season 2. Somebody asked me about season 2. I can't give you a judgment call. I just hope they don't overkill it with bringing all these people in. It was very good. Some people didn't like it, but I loved it. I thought it was very good. I love The Mandalorian. I really much enjoyed it, and I hope season 2 is just as good as season 1. The guy Music Biz Money, let me tell you something. He said the world is going to hell and all you could talk about is this. Then don't be here, man. If you're so worried about the world going to hell, do something about it. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't prevent everything that's going on outside. I wish I could. I wish I had some kind of magical power that I can go out to reach to everyone and say, hey, we got to stop all this hating. We got to stop all this violence. We got to stop. I wish I could, but I can't do that. And just to let you know, there's been more killings in Chicago, Atlanta, and New York, okay, than this weekend. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. And look who's killing who, and look who's shooting who, and it's in the news, and if you haven't checked it out, yeah, things are bad out there. There's nothing I can do. Sorry, I'm not God. I don't have those powers. So I do this to get away from that from life. And I do this to bring you guys, because you're a fun, wonderful community, and we have fun. And this is what it's about. It's about entertainment and Star Wars and playing Battlefront 2, and about having a lot of fun. So we don't have to think about all the crap that is going on out there, from the unemployment to the disease, to the protests, to everybody fighting, the violence. That's why I do this. I do this because it's fun, and it gets me away from life, which sometimes can be very stressful. Scotty said, I heard Anakin was to physical appear and even filmed that scene supposedly, but they were cut for a certain reason. I heard there was a lot of cuts. I don't know why. I heard that JJ was pissed off about it. So this is not what I put out there. This movie was 3 hours. They cut it to 220. Some speculation was that because he's going to the DC universe and that they're Marvel, so they wanted to ruin it for him. I don't know how that benefits them, though. They're trying to make money. I don't know. I don't really know. Son of Mortis. Okay. Son of Mortis, you mean. I gotcha. I'd like to comment if you want, man, but it's Scott, I saw this way too late. I'm gonna get off in like a few minutes. Sorry, man. I would have had you. I'll have you on again. Mika says, good live, man. Thank you. I appreciate that, Mika. Connor says it's called Connor and Alex. The icon is a scarecrow. Okay. All right, gotcha. You want to move general? Says Kenobi. Mika says Snook could have a second apprentice. That could have been the bad guy in the Rise of Skywalker. Would have been better. You know what, Mika? I'm gonna agree with you here. I don't understand. I don't understand why. If he was making one Snoke. Sorry, I keep saying Snook. It's Snoke. Dummy, Snoke. If he made one Snoke, why weren't there an army of them? Right? Why? And if they were so powerful and you knew how to create it, and that one was a success, why not make more of them? And then that would make you pretty much unstoppable. And if you're coming back, like, wow, we would have an army of them plus Palpatine. My God, that would have been like, and then Luke, instead of killing him off, would have been great if he would have helped Rey. But what happens? Rey's father stepped back into it and said, hey, I'm here. I just let you think I was dead. I had the Force too, or something. It may be corny, but I don't know. They could have done. I guess I was so disappointed with the ending of The Rise of Skywalker. I mean, that just totally disappointed with the ending. It just really bummed me out. I think these endings were not even close to the sequels, and the sequels were way better. Their endings were way better. Take any of the endings, 1, 2, or 3, and their endings compared to the sequel endings blows it out the water. Sorry, it just does. They're more exciting and more fun. I don't get it. Scotty says, yeah, hence the son of Mortis possibly being Snook's apprentice. Could. They could have done that. That would have been very interesting. Am I going to have a live Battlefront 2 tonight? I'm not sure. I'm probably going to do it tomorrow. I think that's better because I'd rather do a couple videos I really want to get finished. And tonight would be a good night to get them done. And then tomorrow I'll do a Battlefront 2 stream since I'm streaming this now. That's just how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like, I'll do it tomorrow. I got too much to do. Some videos. I got to clean the house. I got a bunch of stuff. So I'd rather do Battlefront 2 tomorrow. Do every other night. And that's I think I'll do. And then Little Caesar says, who knows? Well, that's it. I think I've hit all the comments section. So if nobody else got anything to say, then I'm just going to end it here. Just supposed to people to thank, and John Matrix with the $4.99 today. I just want to thank you for contributing to my channel. And what I want to do is I would like to get a green screen to make even better videos and have some background and make it. That's the future plan. Like I said, I keep trying to improve this. It's a new phone. I got a laptop. I got, so I'm trying to buy things. And so don't think that your money is just going in my pocket. It's not. I'm trying to take whatever money I make and whatever I spend on this channel, trying to make up for it because I spent way more on this channel. But I appreciate the donation. It's going to help me to try and make this better, more fun. Yeah, I have a lot of fun playing Battlefront 2, if you haven't checked it out. Oh, we got some more. Connor and Alex. Oh, it's the cool guy. Oh, there he is. This is the channel. Scott says, have a good night, Rob. And he says, I'll be on tomorrow. I'll definitely be on tomorrow. I think tomorrow night would be a good night to do it. So, yeah, I think I don't mean tomorrow as in when it strikes midnight. I mean the following. So it'll be like Friday morning, 12. Well, I usually go on around 1. And if anybody asks why am I on Battlefront 2 so late, it's just because I have a family. It's hard. It's hard. My daughter needs attention. I need to do things here. I work. It's hard. So it's the best time for me to go on. And Battlefront 2 streams have been really great. They've been growing. I can see your interest, and I will make sure I continue to do it because you're very interested in that. Reaction videos I see do well for the channel. Stuff like that. These live streams, I'll continue to do that. Mika says, have a good night and may the force be with you. And maybe let's talk. Yeah, that's fine. Listen, I'm trying to get as many people on the stream as I can. So, this is all about having fun. It's about you. I want you guys to have fun, be informed, and have fun. And that's what I'm trying to do. Inform you of things that are going on, tell you rumors and speculations, have some fun with the gaming. Oh, Bick, what's up? How you doing? You old pirate, so good to see you. Yes, I'm coming. And Little Sleestoke says I have 8 more appearances to get 3 epics and 5 rares. I think 8 more appearances. Talking about Battlefront 2? I think you are. But anyway, we got one more comment. Connor says we should play Battlefront 2 sometime. I got to wait. Okay, here I play Battlefront 2. I'm just gonna real quick give you. This is my PSN. Hit me up. Give me a friend request. I'll accept it tomorrow. And if you want to play, you're more than welcome. That's my PSN. So, okay, guys, I'm going to get going. I do got a lot. Hope you enjoyed the stream. I want to thank Discussions with Dylan for being on and the entertainment crew. Make sure you subscribe to them. John Matrix, Subhuman, Connor and Alex, Little Sleaze Dog, Vic Mickham. And I hope I said his name right. And I'm just saying goodbye to everybody. You want to say goodbye to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Say goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Say wave goodbye. I'm going for Battlefront 2 tomorrow. We're putting out some videos.
I'll come back.
Check out the Clone Wars. What did you say?
I'll come back.
Nice. She wants everybody to come back. I hope you will come back for the next live stream. Peace out. Be well. Be safe,
And
everybody.
always subscribe to Daddy's channels and give thumbs up. Subscribe, tap the red button to see more Star Wars videos of Daddy, and then click the bell to subscribe to my dad's channels. Bye, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow because Daddy's gonna play Battlefront 2, and I'm gonna come in. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Be well. Thank you all for coming. Take care. Love you all. Peace.